Welcome students, this is lecture number 5, language processing activities. So in the previous lecture, lecture number 4, we have seen what is meant by program generation activities. In this, we have seen example of program generator, wherein we have given a specification and we got form handling program as an output. So automatic program generator we have seen, and this particular activity, program generation activity, bridges the semantic gap. In this lecture, we are going to see program execution activities. In these particular activities will bridge the gap named as execution gap. So the gap between PL domain and execution domain is execution gap. So this gap is bridged by the program execution activities. So the program execution activities include translation and interpretation. So these are the 2 points: translation, program translation, and second one is program interpretation we have to see in this lecture. So let's start with program translation. So the program translation model bridges the execution gap I just told you by translating a program written in programming language called the source program into equivalent program that is in the machine or assembly language of the computer system called the target program. So in simple way, a program translator is going to translate a source program from one language into a target program. This is the diagram that gives the work of translation model. You can see here, source program is the input to the translator. Translator will give out if any errors are there. Now machine language code is generated, machine language program. So when we load this machine language program into the main memory, it will ask for some numbers or some data. It will take the values from the database also. It will take the data from the user also. And at last it will produce the result which we can see on the screen. So this is a program translation model. We can see in detail here. In this diagram we can see in detail how it works. But before that, I'll explain the same model by giving one example. Suppose we have a C program as an input. Suppose we have a C program as input. Now, if a C program is having some errors, suppose semicolon is missing, or if anything is error, that will be given as error here. Consider example as we are doing addition of two numbers and both numbers are taken from the program itself. So translator will translate into machine code. Now this program will be loaded into the main memory for execution, and first line it will prompt as enter first number. So data, it is waiting for the data. Enter first number, enter second number. When both numbers are entered, so data is taken by the program, machine language program. Then we will get the addition of two number as a result. Suppose we enter 5 as data, another number as 5 as a data. So these two numbers are taken for addition of two numbers. Our program is doing addition of two numbers and result will be 10. So in this way, program translation model works. So the programs which we have done in C language and C++ language uses this particular model called as program translation model. What are the characteristics of program translation model? The first characteristic is whenever we have done a program, that is to be translated first before execution. That means whenever we write a C program, we compile the C program. At the time of compilation, a translated code is generated. When we press Alt F9, a translated code is generated. And when we press Control F9, that is when we execute the program will get executed. Now here, for the translation, we have used Alt F9. Next characteristic is whenever we are typing a code, that is a higher level language. But this higher level language is not understood by the machine. For that, translation is required. A machine language program generated by translator is saved in a file and loaded in main memory and executed whenever desired. Now, if you have done C programming very carefully, a.cpp can be the a.c is the name of the file, a.obj is the object file. So translated files are saved in the folder. So that's what here mentioned. Whenever we are going to translate a source program, that it is saved into a file. And whenever we press Ctrl F9, then that is loaded into the main memory. Now let's consider a scenario. We have a C program which is just compiled. Alt F9 is pressed and we have not executed. We are closing this particular program. Suppose a.c is typed correctly, Alt F9, come out of that. Type one more program, b.c. Compile it, Alt F9, and come out of the Turbo C. Now go to the Turbo C, just open the Turbo C and now press Ctrl F9. Now Ctrl F9 will do what? It will take the translated file and it will execute. Now you will say, sir, if we do not press Alt F9, if we directly press Ctrl F9, then also program gets executed. Now what Turbo C is doing? Turbo C is doing the work of translation as well as execution if we press Ctrl F9. And if we press Alt F9, the program is only translated. So what I wanted to say is, whenever we compile the file and we the program translates into some machine understandable code, that same program can be used again and again and again for execution. So there is no need to translate again and again. So the whatever file is saved, whatever translated program is saved, that can be used again and again. And last point, retranslation required after modification is done in the source program. So whenever some changes are done in the program, at that time retranslation is expected. You will do Java programs in this semester. You will type one program, you will execute that program, you will get expected output. Now do one thing, whatever you have typed, make few changes into that and execute the code without translating. Now you will get the previous output, you will not get the output of the changed program. Why this has happened? Because whenever you want to execute the changes, retranslation is required. So these are the different characteristics of program translation model. I repeat the characteristics. First characteristic is a program must be translated before it can be executed, that we always do. A machine language program generated by translator is saved in a file and loaded into the main memory and executed whenever desired. No need to translate for every execution. And at last, retranslation required after modification in source program. Now, this slide indicates arrangement of all language processors. So, source program is input. Source program is input to the preprocessor. Now, this preprocessor will take the C program, will link everything. Now, C compiler will come into picture. C compiler will give output to the assembler. Assembler will give output to the linker. Linker will give output. Linker will keep the output, and loader will load whatever is given by the linker. At last, machine language program will be there. It will accept the data and it will give the result. Means whenever you are doing a C program and want to print the addition of two numbers, it goes through all these steps. So this much is the process. So what is in our subject? System programming. So in system programming, we are going to see assemblers also. C compiler already we have used. Preprocessor, we used a line hash include. That hash include, hash is a preprocessor. Hash include system.io.h or hash include whatever we are giving header file. that is used by the preprocessor. Then our program, then assembler we are going to see chapter number 2, then linker we are going to see chapter number 5, loader we are going to see chapter number 6. So this is how we are going to see each and every language processor in detail. Now next is program interpretation. Now whatever we have seen was program translation. Now interpretation. Translation is converting a source program into some translated program, but program interpretation will not transfer anything. What program interpreter will do? Let us see on this slide. An interpreter executes a program without generating a target program. So in short, we can say program interpretation is done line by line. So how it is achieved? So you have gone through the subject named as microprocessor, wherein you have seen the execution cycle. What are the steps in that execution cycle? Fetch the instruction, decode the instruction, and at last perform the operation. So these three steps are nothing but interpretation. So what is done in interpretation? First of all, an instruction is fetched. That means first of all, an instruction is read. After reading the instruction, decode the instruction means finding the meaning from that. Once the meaning is clear, then perform the operation. Example, I'll tell you. Suppose the instruction is C is equal to A plus B. Decode the instruction means what? It will make sure equal to is having some calculation at RHS, and before equal to LHS must have only one symbol. After fetching the instruction, decoding step will make sure that at LHS there is only one symbol, because A plus B equal to C will not work in C language or in programming language. So C equal to A plus B will work. So decode the instruction will do what? Decode the instruction will find out the meaning of this particular statement. What is the meaning of this statement? Assign value of RHS to LHS. So this equal to is nothing but assignment statement. Now it will check whether after this equal to is there any calculation. Yes, plus is there. Plus means addition of this symbol A, addition of B is to be performed. Now suppose if this particular semicolon is missing, so it will give error, because it will give error and it will not go to the next line, because we are executing line by line. So fetch the instruction, decode the instruction means find out the exact meaning out of this, and if everything is clear, semicolon is there and everything is clear, then it will perform the operation. Now whatever the value is given for A and B, suppose A is given value as 5 and B is given a value as 6, it will perform the operation. The meaning of this particular expression is nothing, instruction is nothing but printing the output as a 11. I hope you cleared the steps: fetch, decode, and perform the operation. So this is nothing but a program interpretation. So that is represented in terms of diagram. Interpreter keeps track using program counter, gives errors if any. This is the memory, main memory, source program plus data it will take. There will be communication between interpreter and memory, and final output will be displayed. Now how the track is kept? Now CPU will keep track by using program counter. So what is program counter? Program counter is the number given to each and every statement in the program. So PC, we say it as PC. PC will keep track of the number of instructions executed, and PC will keep track of the erroneous instruction also. I repeat this particular thing. Suppose we have the instructions from 1 to 10, and if there is an error at line number 5, it will wait to remove that error at line number 5, then it will start executing line number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is how translation, this is how interpretation will go. What are the characteristics of program interpretation? The source program is retained in the source form itself. So it is not converted into anything. So every time, whenever you want to execute the program, it will have to go through all the source program, including all the cycles for each instruction: fetch, decode, execute, fetch, decode, execute, fetch, decode, execute. A statement is analyzed during its interpretation. Every time the statement is analyzed, though the meaning is known, every time statement is analyzed. Now we have seen program translation model. What was there in program translation model? Program translation model's characteristics told us that if a source program is translated into some other language, that translated program can be used again and again and again. There is no need to keep the source program for execution. But in case of interpretation, source program is must. Now, one more characteristic was there in program translation. That characteristic was whenever you make any change in the program, you have to retranslate the program. Now here, every time each and every statement is taken into consideration. So you make change or you do not make change, the program is going to execute from scratch. So this is a drawback of interpretation, because if we are going to do fetch, decode, execute for each and every line for every execution, then time required is going to be more compared to the executing already translated program. So whatever we are doing, programs of C, CPP, Java, all these programs are using the program translation model. All these higher languages are using program translation model. Clear? Coming to the end of this lecture, in this lecture we have seen program execution activities, that is program translation model and program interpretation model. I hope you got the concept. Listen video again and again if you are not getting the point. Thank you. Happy learning. Do visit to the blog to get the notes, PowerPoint presentations and everything. Thank you. We'll meet in the next lecture with the next point. Thank you. Thank you very much.